Hello everyone, this is DJ. Welcome to another episode of RC Retirement. Today I'm going to answer in a video / audio form a question that I received from a viewer. This is a topic that comes up a lot, and I think that I have not covered this in the past, so I'm going to do so now. This is a clarification of how the reduced retirement age law works for reservists. And like you'll see in just a moment, the question that this viewer asked is one that's quite common, particularly for people who were in a regular component, active duty, Army, Navy, etc. So let me go ahead and dive into this and you can see what's going on. So this came in the form of an email and I'll read it out to you. DJ, question. Do you know if the National Defense Authorization Act of 2008 counts active duty time served while in an active status for purposes of retirement on the reserve side? Now, that first question sounds like it might just be the standard, do I get retirement points for this? But let's continue. Currently, I am active, but will likely retire on the reserve side. I have a 20-year letter, but am wondering if now that I am serving on active duty, if this active duty time will subtract off of my age 60 retirement. And he includes a link to Army Human Resources Command, which is describing reduced retirement age. Alright, and this is Jeff, by the way. So let me go ahead and tell you what I told him. And I did tell him that I would be using this for today's video, but I'm obviously not including a lot of the detail that I did in his response. So there are some things I'm going to leave out. Alright, so here's the answer to the question. Jeff, this is a question which often arises regarding the reduced retirement age law. I'm actually glad you asked it because it gives me the opportunity to explain how the reduced retirement age law works. I am going to use this email as the source for my next YouTube video so that others may learn from it. Minus your identifying information, of course. Alright, so here we go. Bottom line up front. Service in a regular component of the military is not creditable for reduction of retirement age. This is true even if the service included deployments to combat theaters. Here's how it all works. Since you are a member of the regular Army at the moment, your service falls under Title 10, Chapter 707, which is what manages the Army. The reduced retirement age law is described in subsection 12731 of Title 10, and I know I'm getting into a lot of references to law and whatnot, but don't worry, I'm not going to read the law. I'm just giving the references. Age and service requirements, that's the name of that particular section. The specifics of it are in subparagraph parentheses F, parentheses 2. Throughout the description of the law, you will glean the sections of law that qualify for reduced retirement age, and these are sections under which a reservist can be called into active duty service, and these types of active duty qualify for reduction of retirement age later on. All of these subsections, which I will show below, are applicable to reserve component members only. And I'll list those subsections in the show notes for this episode, so you'll have that. The reduced retirement age law went into effect on 28 January 2008. And we know this, I've covered that in a previous video, but I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. Active duty service under the sections of law above, on or after that date, will qualify. Service under these subsections prior to that date will not qualify for a reduced retirement age. For example, people who were mobilized to go to Iraq or Afghanistan from 2001 through most of 2008, even though they were under these types of orders, they do not qualify for a reduced retirement age. And that's just due to how the law was written. It was not made retroactive, and it was designed so it would not begin to have any effect until the day it was signed into law, and that was 28 January 2008. Yeah, 28 January 2008. So I was suddenly unsure of myself there. Had to look at my notes. All right. And then I go into a description of his particular service, which he was in a reserve component before going active duty. That's why he said he had a 20-year letter. So I go into a description of his particular service and how much of that qualified for a reduction in retirement age. And who knows, he may have deployed to combat theaters 2 or 3 times since he went regular Army, but that's not going to affect the math that I showed. Alright, now I am going to give a little bit of what I said next. Said, according to your retirement point statement, your basic active service date is in the year 2013. Basic active service date, at least on the reserve side, is a tabulation of all of your active duty service, be it annual training or short periods of active duty or long periods of active duty, and those are subtracted from your enlistment date or your appointment date. And that gives you an instant idea of how long you would need to serve on active federal service orders, AFS, in order to qualify for an active duty retirement. All right, moving on. So, lost my place. All right, here we go. The inactive duty training, or IDT points, that you have will not be added to your total service yet. Once you have 20 years of once you have 20 years of active service, those inactive duty training points will be added to the end. They'll be converted into years, months, and days. And he had enough points for it to be a little over 3 years of extra service in calculating his active duty pension. This is known as the 1405 rule. And I mentioned to see section 1405 of Title 10. And also another video, which will be in the show notes as well, talking all about how 1405 service works. Alright, almost done with this. So if you return to reserve status, obviously the 1405 rule will not apply. Your retired pay eligibility date, later on, will be the date to keep in mind. One other thing to keep in mind is the fact that the reduction in retirement age only applies to receipt of retired pay. TRICARE eligibility for yourself and your family will still be at age 60. And that's about it. There were a few other things I said, but they were regarding his personal situation, so I'm not going to read those. But I thought this would be a good time to just throw out that little bit of clarification. Regular component service is not applicable to a reduction in retirement age. Only reservists being called to certain types of active duty will qualify for that. And the reasoning behind this is active duty people, once they have 20 years of active federal service, get their retirement earlier than a reservist would regardless. So if you enlisted at 18, served for 20 active years, you're retiring at 38. A reservist could have joined at the exact same time you did, served for 20 years, and that reservist will not receive retired pay for 22 more years. So there is a disconnect in the active versus reserve benefits package. Alright, so that's all I've got for today. This was a simple, short topic for everybody. And I think this is a good clarification of how the law works. If you are not already familiar with the law itself, please check out the other 2 videos in the show notes, and you'll be able to get a good handle on how things work. Alright, so now time for the call to action, so to speak. Of course, I would like everyone to come over to the corner of the screen here and hit the subscribe button. And also, if you believe someone can benefit from the message of this video, then of course share this video with others. Be sure to hit that like button as well. All of these things help me out. And if you would like to have a more direct impact, I invite anyone who wants to support my educational efforts on this channel by joining my Patreon campaign at patreon.com/rcretirement. You can also have me help you. Go to rcretirement.com and check out the Fees for Services tab. You'll see a whole array of different services I offer, and the actually relatively minor costs for those services. Be sure also that you contact me with any questions. I do get a lot of emails, so sometimes it may take me a little while, a day or two, to answer, but I will answer. So my email address is dj@rcretirement.com, and I'm available to assist any way I can. Alright, so that is all for this episode. As always, I thank you all for choosing to spend your time with me, and most of all, thank you for your service. Have a great day. If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then please have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, or financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.